presentation of the afternoon. We wanted to allow a little time for some Q&A after this presentation, especially I know with a lot of us here in our use and some experience we have with OnCommand, we definitely have a great interest in that. And I mentioned that to Kyle, so definitely want to make an appropriate amount of time here for the presentation as well as some Q&A after. I'm actually going to turn this over to Kyle Coberman. He's actually going to introduce the Navistar members here with us this afternoon, because I don't want to mess anything up on my end of it. So, Kyle.
So I'm Kyle Coberman. I'm with Bluegrass International. I'm the local dealer, contract holder with the state for international vehicles. Today, Steve Billings is our government rep. We deal with directly with Navistar. And then the man of the hour, Matthew Krump, is our OnCommand wizard from Navistar. So I don't know. That's all I got to say. I want to turn it up. Steve, you got anything?
No, you did a great job.
Yeah. Steve, our man, when it comes to the pricing and all that kind of stuff. But Matthew here, you guys are going to enjoy what he's got to say.
All right. Thank you all very much. Pleasure to be here with you all. I've been with Navistar now for 17 years. I've been involved in OnCommand Connections since day one back in 2013. It's been a fantastic product. I'm glad you guys have embraced it and are using OnCommand Connection. My job is simply here to help you get the most out of OnCommand Connection. And I see this as one of many meetings we may have. I want to give you a few tips, a few pointers, a few takeaways today that you can immediately go back and start utilizing. But then if we want to follow up, maybe sometime between now and Christmas, we can have a follow-up meeting, do it remote over WebEx or Teams meeting. And if we want to do something again in January or as appropriate as needed, I'm available to help you guys anytime you should need it. So my contact information is up there. And if you should need to get in touch with me, just don't be shy to pick up the phone. I'll share this whole presentation with you so you have everything as reference going forward. So OnCommand Connection, what it is, it gives you total visibility to the health and operation of your vehicles that are in operation coming from the telematics devices that are transmitting the data over to us. It goes hand in hand with our product called International 360. International 360, that's the tool that allows you to initiate a repair order request, assign it to an international dealer, and then be able to have communications and track the status of that repair through all the different stages of that repair, all the way down to the vehicle is ready for pickup. And then it keeps that electronic record of the repair, so we know everything that's happened and we can go back and reference that repair anytime we should need to. So on your new vehicles that are going to start arriving, they have a built-in factory installed device called the N2 device. All right, that device enables us to do a lot of other things beyond just the basic data transmission to OnCommand Connection. So you have the ability to do what we call gateway integrations. That's where we can take the information and feed it to the telematics provider, meaning Geotab. So in some cases, we can avoid having to install additional telematics device on the vehicle because we can utilize the N2 device to be the hub of that information, send that to the Geotab system so you guys can have everything that you normally have on the Geotab side, but it's all pulling from one centrally located telematics device on the vehicle. And that's live for 5 years from the vehicle's delivery date to you guys. You can have over-the-air calibration updates and parameter changes. So if there is a calibration update needed for the engine, you don't have to take the time to schedule it and bring it into an international dealer. Someone can look at the calibration updates available. I'll go ahead and assign it to that truck, deploy it. The driver gets a message saying, hey, calibration update's available. They park it, hit the initiation button. I'll go through those slides in detail here, showing you what that looks like. But just like on your iPhone, it starts downloading that information over the air, and then it goes through the process of recalibrating that engine. It takes about a half an hour for that to complete, and that way, you're on your way. You're back up and on the road, and you didn't have to bring that into a dealer. So that saves you time, keeps you compliant with any emission updates and calibration updates that are related to emissions for the government compliance. And then also we can do parameter changes over the air as well. So if we need to adjust anti-idle shutdown timer, vehicle's top speed, top cruise control speed, all of that is available to be able to do remotely over the air. So really neat what that enables you to do. This is when we started equipping our vehicles. So with orders after April of 2022 of this year, any trucks that were ordered after that time will come equipped with that N2 telematics device in them. We've got about 77,000 N2 devices live on the road, mostly on our heavy-duty class vehicles. So we've now expanded that to our medium duty as well. This is the telematics providers that we are integrated with. You guys are utilizing Geotab, but just as general information, we are integrated with 32 different telematics providers that are sending us data, sending us all the information that we need to do in order to interpret that and provide it back to the customers. We've got about 3,000, 4,000 fleets that are live on our system ever since 2013, with about 725,000 vehicles live in our system right now. This is where the difference between what we do and what the telematics providers are doing. We understand those fault codes because we're the original equipment manufacturer, so we take those fault codes, assign severities to them, and pack it with a whole lot of other information around those fault codes, all the way down to the the labor operations, the specific parts that are needed. We'll provide you questions that you can ask your drivers. So, a fault code is one half of the equation. The symptoms that the vehicle is experiencing is the other half of the equation. So when we can take a fault code and give you questions to ask your drivers, and you can record those questions, and it'll dynamically change the page to say, okay, based on those answers, here's the new severity of that code, here's the labor operations and the parts that are most likely needed to correct that fault code from happening. So what we do, we take that information, we provide that visibility to all of you, and we have it broken down into your account, divided out between all the different regions, so you can have as many users as you want, as many vehicles as you want loaded into our system. By the way, there's no charge for any of this. That's not on a trial or pilot basis. That's free forever. There's no charge for OnCommand connection to you guys. The 5 years of factory installed telematics over the air, that is at the end of that 5 years, there is a charge for that going forward, but that's just on the air time, right? So if you are sending the information from the Geotab device on your trucks, that'll continue to remain free forever. The integration, so between OCC and 360, make sure this, I think that may have gone off. I'll just talk louder. Yeah. That's okay, I'll just talk louder. There we go, okay. So the integration between OCC and 360. So this is the dashboard that hopefully some of you are familiar with. We have on the right-hand side the ability to say, okay, let's request service. That's where I can take a vehicle and I say, all right, based on the fault codes that are present on this vehicle, I want to bring that into an international dealer. Well, I have the ability to click that green button and assign it to an international dealer, put in my symptoms, put in the date and time of my arrival, and that gives a nice heads up to that dealership. I'll go through that in more detail in a second. Or if the vehicle's already at the shop, instead of having that green button, it'll show you the current status of that vehicle's repair. So this is from Werner. They have one vehicle that's waiting on a bay, and they have another vehicle that has just arrived at the dealership, and that's showing you that current status. So if I go ahead and initiate a repair, that's going to bring up a repair order card. And I can click on that request service, enter in my dealership location that I want to bring that vehicle to, any of our 665 dealer locations, enter in the symptoms that I'm experiencing, my complaints that I'm experiencing, and then the date and time that I anticipate arriving at that dealership. Record that, and now it turns into an active repair order card that dealership has full visibility to. So now they can reach out to you, they can look at the fault codes that are present on that truck, the complaints that you've entered, and so now they have the ability to anticipate your arrival, that vehicle's arrival, and start aligning resources. If they can tell based on these fault codes, I know I'm going to need this part, and this part. Maybe I don't have 2 of those 3 on my shelf. I can pre-order those in anticipation of that truck's arrival. Maybe I need to reach back out to you guys and ask a question or say, if you have some flexibility in your schedule, this location of mine versus this other one has more of the parts available. So, if you're able to bring it 20 miles up the road, that works out better. It's that interaction between the customer and the dealership that it really changes and helps overall improve, because now we're all on the same page. We have this interactive online repair order, and it tracks it the entire way and has communications all throughout all those stages of repair. As the dealers are going through those stages, they're entering updates. Vehicle has just arrived, we're waiting on a bay, it's out for a test drive, parts are on order, parts are on back order, vehicle is ready for pickup, whatever that is. And they're interactive every single day. Over-the-air programming. So this is a big deal with that N2 device that you're going to start getting on your new trucks that you've ordered. So calibration updates, I talked about this before, as well as parameter changes, all remotely over the air without having to bring that vehicle into a dealership. The one thing that we need to do in anticipation of that is have this over-the-air programming form signed. What that does is it basically designates the overall company administrator for your account, and that person then can assign programming capability to any user that has access to your account. All right, so that's just a matter of some paperwork. Kyle's got a copy of that. We'll get that signed and sent in before the end of today. Well, then what that does is that gives that person with programmer ability access to this calibration page, and that pulls up a list of vehicles that it'll say, hey, these vehicles, some of them need a calibration update. And it allows you then, as the programmer, to say, okay, I'm going to select that vehicle and initiate that over-the-air calibration. And then once that's done, this is what the driver sees on their side. A calibration update is available. When they are able to park the vehicle for 30 minutes, they hit that OK button, and it starts downloading that calibration update. Once it's completed downloading it, then what it does is it starts sending it to the vehicle's ECM, and once that's completed, the driver gets a message that everything has been completed successfully and they're on their way. If anything should go wrong in the process, what it does is it lifts a current calibration, puts it into the telematics device's memory, and during that process, if something should go wrong, it reverts back to the original one. So there's some fail-safe methods in there to keep anything from anything should go wrong. This is a video showing the process itself. I'm not going to play that whole thing. I'm going to provide you guys this presentation. But then we have over-the-air programmable parameter changes. So you have the ability to adjust the maximum vehicle speed, maximum cruise speed, predictive cruise offsets, so the amount of distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you. The anti-idle shutdown timer, you can completely disable it, adjust the thresholds, so maybe if you want to set the vehicle stays on when it's over 95 degrees, or the vehicle stays on when the temperature gets below 15 degrees. That can all be done remotely. We had a great example of a customer that they had a new driver and he had a CPAP machine. So they wanted to be able to completely disable that the anti-idle shutdown timer, but they didn't want to bring the vehicle in to have that done. So we were able to help them do that remotely. And at the next key off, key on cycle, those new parameters were updated to the vehicle that fast. So same as where you find the calibration updates, you go into that programmer tab, and you see a list of all the vehicles that are eligible for it. You then can set up profiles for each vehicle, then assign those profiles to whatever vehicles you want to assign them to, and deploy those updates. What the driver sees is there's calibration update available. They hit the OK button. The next key off, key on cycle, all those parameter changes that you've assigned are deployed and on the way they go. It's a video showing the whole process and what the driver experiences live. One of the other things that we've been developing is a mobile app, right? So this puts the power of OCC into someone's hands through a mobile app that's more friendly than, because we know that some folks are not able to access OCC from their computer, from their laptop all the time. They're working remotely, they're in the truck, and this gives them the power of using OCC in a mobile app for either Android or iOS. That should be deployed by the end of this year. So look at some of the screens, very user-friendly. I've been testing it on my phone myself, and that's pretty slick. Gateway integrations. This is what I was talking about earlier with the ability for our N2 factory installed device to supply your Geotab portal with all the information it needs to do the telematics side of it. So if that's of interest to you guys, let's start those conversations and figure out anything special that may be needed for that type of gateway integration. But that saves you the hassle of having to install an additional cellular device and pay for an additional cellular device on the vehicle. Help and support. So throughout our OnCommand system, I'm going to do a live demo in a second here, but throughout our OnCommand system, on every single page, there is a help document at the bottom. That help document is specific to that page. It's very detailed and walks through all the different page elements and what they mean and how and explains how they can be useful for you. Every time we publish an enhancement to OnCommand Connection, we have a What's New section. It'll pop up the first time you've logged in since we've launched the enhancement, but all the past ones are there for reference as well down at the bottom on the What's New tab. And then if you should need help and support, our phone number is there. We have an email support as well. All that is at the bottom of the page for you to reference. And that's our team. That's my contact information. And then we have a specialized group depending on what kind of support you may need. This is a look at our team and their contact information. And then International 360 side, this is what I was talking about earlier, that gives you complete visibility to all the repairs going on at any international dealer across the country or across the state of Kentucky. So you have a portal that you can log into and to see any vehicle and the status of that repair. It's mobile friendly, so you don't have to, it doesn't require you to download an app. All the pages were built as responsive. This is a look at a particular repair order card. So you have the vehicle's unit number on the upper left, the current status of that repair. This one is en route to the dealer. The notes that the dealership is entering get entered here, and you can expand those to see more details and all the history of the past notes that the dealership has entered. In the middle section, you have information about the vehicle itself and the dealer that the vehicle is currently at. And then you have information on the right-hand side where you have links to the health report that's coming from the telematics device, the estimate if the dealership has posted an estimate for you to review and approve. The link to it is there. And then you have a parts icon that opens up a very detailed view of all the individual parts that are on that vehicle down to the part level number. So it just saves you time and improves your communication with that dealer, and it works hand in hand with OnCommand Connection. So that's all the slides that I have to review. The rest of this is going to be live demonstration. I'm going to jump into these portals. Any questions so far before I jump over to that side? Okay.
What portal are you jumping into? Is it our portal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. This is your live account right here. I'm actually simulating Mike Banks. So on this main page of the portal, this is the main home screen that you open when you come to OnCommand Connection. What it does is it gives you some high-level metrics. We've taken the fault codes and we've assigned severity levels to all of those fault codes. Our most severe fault, we call it stop now. Our next level down from that is service immediately, service soon. And then if the vehicle has no actionable faults, those are the green ones down here. Okay? On the right-hand side, you have fault indicators. So if a fault code is known to be derating a vehicle, we call that out and show it in purple, derate condition. There are 6 vehicles that are operating in a D-rate condition based on scans that have come into us within the last 24 hours, okay? I have these filters, these basic filters down here. What this shows me is include vehicles that are currently at an international dealer. By default, I have that checked. I can turn that off because maybe I'm really looking for vehicles that are still on the road, or add a known location. So we've geo-fenced both our dealers as well as other OEM dealers. With inactive fault codes, this is including inactive fault codes. So fault codes go active and they go inactive. If I want to include the inactive ones in my results, I leave that box checked. And then also if I want to include vehicles that don't have any fault codes, I leave that box checked. I can have that as last 24 hours or based on scans within the last 7 days of time. You guys have your account divided up between all the different equipment garages. So those are listed right here. Now, depending on what your user ID has access to, your list may look different than this one. Maybe you only have access to one of these garages, so that helps focus your attention on the vehicle list that you need to be paying attention to, or that you're responsible for. On our map down here, we have the vehicle's current location, and then we've color-coded it based on the severity levels of the fault codes that are on the truck. So as I zoom in here into these bubbles, there's a lot of vehicles on the road. That gives me a look at the individual vehicles. And if I want to filter this map down to just show me vehicles that have a stop now as an example, I can do that. And there are how many was it? 7 vehicles that have a stop now level severity code within the last 24 hours of time. And what I can do is I can click on any one of those, and the bubble pops up, and it shows me there's the unit number for that vehicle. It's a stop now fault. There is a link to the vehicle's health report, this gear. So that opens up the detailed health report for that vehicle. I can see that there are 3 dashboard warning lamps on this truck. The AWL, the MIL lamp, and the RSL lamp is also on. Then this shows me the active and inactive fault codes on the truck. Gen 1939 retarder code is active. These are the ones that are engine related. So this is the stop now code on that truck. It is a coolant level that is extremely critical. It's a SPN 101-1. That means the coolant is extremely low on that truck. And we rate that as a stop now level severity code. It's happened 17 times. Okay? Our health reports run in 7-day cycles. So what this means up here is I'm on day 3 of the current 7-day health report cycle. I can see because those first 3 days are highlighted green. So in the last 3 days, that fault code has happened 17 times. And then we also have other fault codes that are inactive on the truck. The ones that are inactive are not highlighted yellow. I can also see a complete history of every fault code that's happened on this truck over the last 6 months' time. I can click on this display history, and it's going to open a ginormous page listing every single code in chronological order. You can tell by the scroll bar that there are a lot of fault codes that have happened. Gives me basic information on the truck on the upper left-hand side. So this is an International to 2015. It's got our N9 engine in it. The odometer reading is 38,000 miles. The overall fuel economy on the truck. And then I'm not getting the engine hours on this one, but most of the time I am. On the right-hand side, I have information about the scan itself. So when did it happen? Where was the vehicle's location, last known location? Puts it right there. And then with each of the fault codes, I have additional information about those faults. So this particular fault, when did it last happen? It first happened on 11/28 at 8:51 a.m., and we last got an update on this today at 11:46 a.m. This was the vehicle's last known location when that fault code last happened. So if that's of interest to me, maybe it's in a parking lot doing some lot moves, or maybe it's going up a steep incline. That GPS coordinate will help tell me exactly where that vehicle is located. This is going to open up our support mapping page. So it'll position the vehicle's last known location, and it'll also show me various support providers around that vehicle's location. It'll show me the international dealers. If it happened to be a Freightliner, it's also going to bring in the Freightliner dealers. Now, why do I do that? If I'm international, why would I show you Freightliner dealers? Well, we're an all-make system. That's one of the huge benefits of OnCommand Connection is we're not just focused on our own trucks, we're focused on your entire fleet. So if you have a less than 2-year-old Freightliner, that thing's still under warranty, and it really does me no good to show you where the international dealer's at, because you're going to be bringing it to a Freightliner dealer to have a particular fault fixed on it anyways if it's still under warranty, right? So that's why we bring in all the OEM dealerships on this page. It takes a little while for this map to load, so that's why I'm kind of giving myself some time as it loads in the background. Also, I think there might be some other folks connected to the Wi-Fi here. It's running a little bit slower than usual. Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right, I'll keep watching that tab. Someone give me a visual and keep an eye on that for me. I'll come back to it. There it goes. All right, so there's the vehicle's that was the vehicle's location when that fault happened, right? I'm right over here. I see the international dealers within 100 miles of that vehicle. But I can also bring in other support locations. So we have an agreement with Love's Truck Stops. For repairs that are under 3 hours, Love's Truck Stops is authorized to do warranty work on those trucks. So I can real quickly bring in Love's Truck Stops locations on the map. Or other vendors. If I want to see, maybe a vehicle has a blown tire and you have an agreement with Michelin, let's bring in those vendors on the map real fast. Or if I need to get to a Pilot, or a Flying J, or a Speedco location, depending on whatever you're looking for, real quick, I can bring all those locations into the map. So there's two ways of looking at OCC. There's a reactive way, which is what our mapping is all about, and helping you react to a problem. Either a vehicle is having fault codes, or it got into some type of accident, it's having some type of situation where our support mapping vendors come in very handy to see what is nearby that vehicle that I can utilize to get help that I need. I can also load your locations into this map. So if you have a particular list of locations for your terminals or your fleet shops, we can load those on the map as well to show those points of interest. Rental services, if I need to get an Enterprise, Idealease, National Lease, Penske, Ryder vehicle rented, I can plot those vehicle or locations on the map real fast. And it brings in the list in the middle column here of those locations and what their address is or contact information for those vendors. Any questions so far? Okay. I can also change this. So if I want to not base this on the vehicle's current location, but let's say tomorrow or next week I'm going to be in a different location with this vehicle, show me the vendors around that location. Go ahead and select Kentucky, and then I'll select let's just pull up a random city here. Search. So that fast, it repositioned that vehicle's location on the map, and now it's showing me other vendors near that location that I've selected. So I have that ability. So I mentioned that there's couple ways of using OCC, reactive and proactively, right? So far, I'm mostly showing you the proactive ways of looking for vehicles that have signs of problems. But let's say you get a call from a driver that's experiencing some type of problem, and you need to quickly look that vehicle up. Well, I have a couple different options. Right from this home screen, let's say I want to pull up unit number 605. I can type in 605 right up here, click on the magnifying glass, and it'll immediately pull up that vehicle details page for that truck. It'll show me its current position on the map. Down here, it's near Lexington right now, a little bit west. And then if I need to go into the health report for that vehicle, there's the link to that health report. And there's truck unit number 605. It currently has a mill lamp on. It's showing me the fault codes that are coming from that vehicle. This is the one active one. It's a body controller fault. And then I have a few engine faults that are not currently active, but they're inactive. But they're there for reference. So that's one way of pulling up a vehicle. I can also show it on this map of the country. So unit number 605, click search, and there it is right there on the map. There's also some nearby vehicles. Let's change this to the aerial display. Let's zoom out a little bit. Right? Now from this page, a lot of customers don't spend much time on this home page. What a lot of them do are they're going to the vehicle scans page. I've already got, that's this tab right here. I've already got that loaded on, which one was it? This tab right here. So what the vehicle scans page does is it gives you a lot of search tool criteria to select. Up here, I have all my different search criteria. By default, the page is going to show you vehicles that have an active fault code within the last 24 hours time. But I can also select a custom range. Either I can say the last 7 days, or I can select a custom range going back 6 months. I can select any 30-day range, or I can narrow that down. Let's say I want to look at last week. So I can select November 21st through November 25th if I want. Apply that. Research. And instead of 175 vehicles with an active fault code, we're now going to get 186 vehicles that during that 4-day span or 5-day span had an active fault code. If I want to narrow that down further, what I can do is say, okay, just show me the vehicles that had either a stop now or service immediately level severity fault code. And then research, or click search again. And instead of 186 vehicles found, now I have 49 vehicles. That list of vehicles that it found is down here at the bottom of this page. I can collapse it, and it'll show me the high-level metrics for each vehicle. So I have the unit number over here, the chassis number, the make model of the vehicle, the scan source, the time that that scan last came in. You guys, if you have access to multiple locations, you have the ability to select those locations in the customer column, the odometer reading from the vehicle, the location, which is a hyperlink. If the vehicle is at a dealer, it'll tell you that the location is at a dealer, international dealer. And then in this column, the faults column, this is where it'll give you an overall count by severity of how many faults this vehicle has. I can expand this section, say, okay, I have 2 service immediately level faults. There's the 2 service immediately. I can also tell that this vehicle has 2 faults that are causing it to be in a D-rate condition. And those D-rate faults are listed there in purple. Then the service soon level fault is here in yellow. But what the other option I can do on this page is, instead of just the vehicles with an active fault code, I can say include the inactive fault codes. And then if I do my search again, now instead of 49 vehicles, I'm going to get a higher number. Now there's 78 vehicles. And the difference is, when I expand, the active fault codes are the ones that are in bold font, and the inactive fault codes are in regular font for each of these vehicles. Okay? If I have other fault indicators, so I can tell that this one, it says light mechanical work. What that means is these are faults that have been identified as ones that you can bring to a Love's truck stop or Speedco location, and they are able to address those faults. You know, it's the easier jobs, 1 to 3 hours maximum. If a vehicle has a known recall that is still open, we put this recall flag on those vehicles. Usually a recall is safety related, so we want to draw as much attention to that recall as possible. We also give the ability to filter this page. Let's say only show me vehicles that have an open recall. And I'm going to adjust my time span to say last 7 days. Click apply. So go ahead and click that search button again. And now every vehicle on this page has an open recall with this recall button. And I can see details about that recall over here by opening up that recall button. Pretty helpful? Is that a handy tool? Good deal? Hit me with any questions at any time through this presentation. I want this to be interactive, so this is, I'm here for you guys. Other search tools that I have on this page. I can limit this search to say just show me vehicles that the information is coming from the telematics device, or I can say show me vehicles that have a technician scan from a dealer. So we have the ability to show you both. I'm going to show you just dealer scans right now. Let's see. So there are 5 vehicles that had a scan that came from a technician at an international dealership. So instead of the scanner being a geotab, this is the Hero device. That's what the technicians use. When the vehicle is brought into the shop, they use the 360 write-up tool. So that's what that's showing you. And then over here on the right-hand side, you notice that these vehicles are showing you the current status of repair. I showed you that button earlier on the PowerPoint slides where you have the ability to click on Request Service. These 4 trucks right here, they currently have an open repair order on them, and it's showing you the current status of that vehicle's repair. And all the other information is like before, with the same information coming from that dealer scan tool. On the right-hand side, this gear icon, just like on the mapping page, on the home page, that opens the vehicle's health report. And very similar to a geotab scan, I have the health report with the vehicle's information over here on the left, the scan tool device on the right-hand side, and I can see this happened at Tri-State. The date and time of the scan, so that was yesterday. And then the active or inactive, or in this case, previously active faults are listed right here. I can also see any warranty history for that vehicle. So these are the various repair dates for the warranty work. And a lot of other general information about that vehicle populated on the page as well, all the way down to the map of where that vehicle's location is at, down here at the bottom. Okay. Other indicators on this page. So if I want to see a list of vehicles that are operating in a D-rate condition, I can click on the D-rate indicator up here. If I want to see vehicles that are at the dealership and that have an open repair order, I have the ability to click on has a Navistar case file or International 360 repair order open for that vehicle. Now, all 6 of these are currently at a dealership with an open repair order, and that's showing me the status of that repair order. Now, at any time on this page, if I want to export these results into Excel, I can click on this export button, and isn't that great? That's the fun of live demos. Let me reload the page and see if we can avoid that. Yep. Sometimes there's a glitch. So we'll come back to that one later on. If a vehicle has an open repair estimate, in other words, the dealership has written up an estimate for that vehicle, I can use the has repair estimate filter. And there's one vehicle that does. That estimate is going to be this repair estimate link. It has a little folder icon, and I can open that repair estimate and review it, talk it over with the dealer, approve it. There's the labor card, the parts card. All that's at my fingertips.
What's the quickest way to check warranty status?
What I can do is, as long as my user ID has access to our service portal, this chassis number right here is a link that'll open that vehicle in our international service portal. So this one's a 2014. There's probably not any warranty remaining on it, but let's go ahead and open it anyways. So all the warranty information is down here in this section. And it's showing me the DTU date, the time in service, 8 years, 7 months, and then any extended vehicle coverage as well down here. Okay. Now, if I like my search results on this page and I don't want to have to come to the page every time to see those results, what I have the ability to do is set up scheduled reports that are emailed to me on whatever cadence I want to select, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, twice a day, whatever I want to select. All that's available in the Reports tab. Starting to get too many tabs open. Let me close a few of these. Normally it loads faster than this, so I must not be on the fastest internet. There we go. Okay, so I clicked on the Reports tab. It landed me on the basic page. But what I can do is go to the custom page. Now I have two options here. Do I want my reports to be based on historical information, or do I want it to be event-driven? Event-driven means the moment that we receive information about a fault, go ahead and send me an email alerting me to that fault. Now that one can be overwhelming, so we limit the choices on the event-driven one, but give you more options on the historical. I'm going to go into the historical first. And any reports that you already have scheduled will be listed on the bottom of this page, so you can see any that are already set up and make any edits to them as needed. So historical. I'm going to give the report a name. I'll just call this demo. Historical report based on faults. The next is to select the location. You guys have multiple locations set up based on your garages. I've got a number of different customers here as well, so I'm going to first filter it down to your guys' account. There it is. So I'll just click on the division of equipment location within your overall account right now. I can apply this to all vehicles or specific vehicles, meaning based on a unit number, based on the engine type, or based on the make and model, based on the make of the vehicle, if I want to limit it. I have those options. Based on the scan source, so do I want it to be just based on telematics data or include dealer scans as well in my results? And then if I have landmarks set up, I have the ability to do that. Landmarks mean I drew a geofence around a particular area, and I only want to select vehicles that are in that particular geofence that I've created. That's a little more advanced, and maybe we can do that as a follow-up on a follow-up training in a few weeks or so. And then I can say, only base it on vehicles that have active faults or include the ones that have inactive faults as well. All vehicles. And now, next is the main criteria of my search. What do I want to base it on? Vehicles that have a stop now and service immediately level severity code? Do I want to combine it with other indicators, meaning they have to have one of these and be in a D rate or be maintenance related or safety related? Or I can leave those blank. I can limit it to a particular source address on the vehicle if I want. Let's say I just want to base it on engine codes, or leave that blank. When I select a particular source address, it turns off the severity indicators. So that's just as general info. Now I can check my information. Say run one-time report. Let's see if these are the results that I was looking for. Based on the last 24 hours or 7 days or 15 days. And then what type of format? Do you want it in Excel or PDF format? If you're trying to look at it on your phone, it's maybe better to select PDF format. But for now, I'll leave it in Excel. There it generated a list. I'm going to open up that Excel file. On the first tab, it's going to give me the search criteria that I used. And then on the second tab, it gives me the results of that search. So here are the vehicles listed by the unit number and the VIN number. It's going to have one row per fault, per DTC. So here is the unit, the VIN, the make model information, the scan ID. So this scan ID is going to open up that vehicle's health report if I want to drill into the details. These are the individual fault codes. Let me zoom in a little bit. These are the individual fault codes, starting with the source address, the active versus inactive status of those faults, the trouble code itself, the FMI, the amount of throws, meaning in the current health report 7-day cycle, how many times has this fault happened? The description of that fault, then our severities that we've assigned to it. So is it service immediately, service soon? Here's a stop now level severity code. Is it causing the vehicle to be operating in a D-rate condition, yes or no? Let's see if any of these are. I don't see any, which is a good sign. Is it maintenance related? Is it safety related? Is it light mechanical work? Meaning what I talked about earlier with faults that have been identified as ones that we can bring to a Love's or Speedco location. It gives me the GPS coordinates and a timestamp of that fault. So it happened at this particular time. That's per fault. This was the location of that vehicle. And then it gives me the odometer reading, whether there's an open recall, yes or no, the unit of measurement for the odometer reading, how many overall faults are active on the vehicle and inactive, the scan tool ID, and a lot of other information. So all of that is available to be on a scheduled basis. So if I'm happy with the results, I'll now close that and say, yep, that looks good. Go ahead and save it. And now once it's saved, I can add the report scheduling. Meaning, how often do you want to receive this information? Based on the last 24 hours, 7 days, or 15 days, and then I can say, yep, send it to me every single day of the week, or just send it to me Monday morning, all the weekdays, whatever I want to customize this with. What time do you want to receive the report? 5 a.m., 6, 7, later at night, whatever you want to select. Run the report forever until this particular date. Do you want it to just run for a few weeks like this, or do you want to set some time away out there in the future? What format do you want to get it in, Excel or PDF? And then do you want the report to be sent even if no vehicles match the search criteria that you've set? That's kind of handy just so you know that the report ran. You're still receiving emails saying, hey, there's no vehicles that match your search criteria. That's up to you if you want to select that. And then give the email subject line your own customized name. You can add any notes that you want for reference, and then by default, your email address will be listed there, but I can also add other email addresses. So if I want to copy as many people as possible, just add their email address. And when I'm done, click Save, or if I mistakenly put someone or I need to remove them later, I can do that right here. Save.
Can that be any email address?
Any email address, as many as you want. You want to send that to 100 people? They probably wouldn't like you, but you can do that. Yeah. So that's the historical report. Very similar on the event-driven, but a few less search criteria, just because that can be really overwhelming if you select too many. So the event-driven looks pretty similar so far. You select your location that you want it to apply to. I have a few customers to select from over here, as you can tell. My recommendation is probably don't go beyond the stop now level severity codes on the event driven. Otherwise, your email box may get flooded with emails. Next, select the users, click on Save, and then the moment we receive a fault code that's stop now level severity for that vehicle, you will receive an email. And the next time we receive a stop now for that same truck, you'll receive an email. And any others within that location that have a stop now, you'll keep receiving emails. So it can be great, but it can also flood your email box, so just be aware of that. I'm going to click Cancel. Then any emails or any reports that you have scheduled to run are going to be listed down here. And if you need to make modifications to them or delete them completely, you have the ability to do so. I've got quite a few because I've got a few hundred fleets assigned to me. There's the latest one that we just created a few minutes ago. It shows me the company it's assigned to, how many others have the ability to make changes to it. That means anyone with admin level access to your account has the ability to go in here and make edits. It shows me the 2 email recipients, both me. The next time that's going to run is going to be tomorrow at 5 a.m. And if I need to make changes to it, I can edit or remove it right from there. Questions about reports? Pretty handy.
Does the report stop sending on 2/28/23? Is that expiration?
Yeah, that's the expiration date. Yeah, because you have the ability to say, just run this report for a few weeks, or you can set it for to go on for the next couple years. By default, it sets a I think it's for 6 months or maybe it's 4 months on here. Just so that there's, because some reports were created years ago, and what we found is, they kept running for forever basically. So we added that. The other section to show you, there's 5 sections I wanted to show you. The last one is the self-service area of OCC. This is where you do all your account administration. What I found going into here a couple weeks ago is doing just some homework. There are a lot of trucks in here that don't have unit numbers assigned to them, right? That's easily correctable, and I can help you do that. I just need a current list of every truck that you have and the unit number associated with it. That way,
So we can send that to you. So
Sure.
we've been trying to figure out who that person is, so.
yep, that's me. No problem. What's that?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, we can send that to you in an Excel file.
Oh, yeah.
Can you do a mass load or a mass update?
Absolutely.
In addition to uploading, identifying those in that same file, can you also remove?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Because
sir.
I noticed the number of assets you had listed earlier. We do not have that number of assets, so I think
Yeah.
you may have assets in there that have been sold or have been
Probably.
complete as well.
Yep.
So,
Yep. That happens. A few years go by, and if no one's been doing this on a regular basis, and fleets of your size, usually like once a quarter, they're going in and just cleaning out and adding new trucks.
And currently, not mistaken, you all have been so graciously kind to actually in-house or house everything that we have, irregardless of the make of it.
That's right.
I'm speaking Ford, GM,
Yeah.
everything from a 1-ton to a heavy application.
Yep.
So,
Your Freightliners, your Max, your Peterbilts, there's a few of them. Yep. Yep. So these are all the locations that you have set up within the account, listed over here. Garages 1 through basically 12 over here. There's one that has basically every single truck. That's the one that's connected to your actual Geotab account. That's the one where it shows a pretty huge number, like 6,700 trucks or something like that.
How does the new trucks get put in there?
Well, so the account, because it's connected to Geotab, as new trucks are added to the Geotab account, when we receive the scan, it automatically adds it to the OCC account.
We'll have to take the door down.
Right, so that's the missing element. That's the missing element, yeah. So here is 6,500 trucks in the account, but if I look on the unit number, if I sort it by unit number, see this is an example of, here's some trucks that the unit number is missing. So no problem, I just take a list of Excel, the full 17-digit VIN, and whatever unit number you want to assign to it, and I go over here to this import tab, and it's just a simple 2-column spreadsheet with the VIN right here, the unit number right there. I save that file, and then I come back here, put in my email address. I select that file, upload it, and in about 5 to 7 minutes, I get an email saying, confirming, here's all the trucks that were loaded, and it'll identify if there's any trucks that maybe there was an extra space in the VIN number, or if the VIN number wasn't recognized. It'll say, these 3 trucks, they weren't recognized, try again, or whatever you need to do to correct it.
Now, one of those assets you had earlier, I seen on the identifier of the asset name that it actually showed what we would put as an identifier in Geotab, AT&T Geotab.
Yeah.
That's not typically the identifier we have in OMS as far as Agile or Trimble,
Yeah.
our inventory software. So it appears that you've been capturing that asset name or information from Geotab as far as what's in there. So can you not do the same here with those VINs that do not have an asset name that through that Geotab connection actually pull the remainder of that or that other information in as it's associated with the actual VIN?
Yeah, if a unit number is associated in Geotab and we receive the scan, it'll take whatever unit number is in the Geotab system. Unless a unit number's already been loaded in OCC, then it'll say, oh, okay, it says this over here, but we recognize that it's really this unit number because that's what you've loaded. That always takes precedent over whatever we receive from the telematics device. Yeah. And the way to
Way folks that are managing the
by your zones. If you're on this page and you're wondering, hey, where's truck 221? Well, I see it. Matt, show them on the screen there where it shows truck has not sent a signal in the last 7 days.
Right. So this little column right here, that's probably hard for you to read, but it says indicates vehicle has not received a scan in the last 7 days. I can say, yep, show me those, and now every truck that has that little identifier, we haven't received a scan from that truck in at least 7 days. And, so this one, July of 2021, was the last time we received a scan from it. It's probably gone from your fleet, is my guess. Yeah. So if you need to remove an individual truck or a few trucks from your fleet, you can select them right here, go down to the page and click remove, and they're gone.
Before you do that, make sure the asset is gone.
Right.
Check the year model of the truck, because it may
Yep.
be a truck. I've got a road building fleet in Virginia, and they got over 200 dump trucks running. And even though they're brand new, the devices can stop sending a signal.
Yeah.
This is the first way to find out. There's a way to reboot it. Through the Geotab partnership, they can send a reboot signal, get it back online. But you don't know unless you do a fleet audit every
That's
morning
right.
and say, hey, I got 15 trucks in my fleet, but only 14 are showing up. So where's truck 15, right? This is the easiest way to go and find it. Yeah, it takes a few steps, but whoever is your fleet manager at your location, they ought to look at this probably once a month just to say, okay, lay my eyes on it.
Yeah.
All of my trucks are reported.
Well, we've not had that guy passed, so
Okay. Yeah.
that's where all of us are trying to catch ourselves up on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So that's where we're trying to get a lot of our heads wrapped around this, especially trying to catch up with some of the information that's in there. I already see some things that are probably an issue in here, because you even have, looks like maybe Go9 devices that may have previously come off a fleet or a leased vehicle that we've got connected to a
That's
heavy
right.
application in there. I'm seeing
Yeah.
that new vehicle previously assigned to or previously in.
Yeah.
That means that was previously in that vehicle, but now it's been moved to this bin? Is that?
Okay. That's, yeah.
It's not pulled in there, so it may be something we have to stop. Just on
Yeah.
the shelf.
Yeah.
Is what I was thinking when I saw those.
Yeah, because I see that 0KB
Right.
2246 down here at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, I can't see.
Yeah, and it's got a VIN number associated with it, but it says it previously was in 0KB 2346.
Yeah. And remember, these are all the ones that haven't received a scan in a long time. Right.
It was a removed old fleet and put in a new 2022 fleet.
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, I see what, so are you pulling, are you pulling everything Geotab, even leased vehicles into this?
Yeah. Anything in your account. Yeah.
I didn't know that, so yeah, that's new to me.
Okay. Yeah.
We're doing fleet a favor, and they didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, having said that, if you remove a vehicle from your OCC account, but you haven't removed it from the Geotab account,
Yes.
and we receive that scan again, it's going to come right back.
Okay.
Right? So, sometimes a fleet gives me a list of, here's our 1,000 trucks that we have in operation. Okay, I'll clear out the 200 that are no longer in operation, and then an hour later, boy, I see them all back there. Well, they didn't remove them from the telematics account, so they just came right back. Just to be aware of. Yeah. For each of your locations, so I'm on a particular location right now, you have the Users tab. These are the users that have access to this location.
Okay, so I'm currently locked out, and I've been locked out for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And
Let me go.
an error message, and not have much assistance with it, so that's, yeah,
Password reset, right there. Call that phone number.
yeah.
I can't, for security reasons, I can't reset your password. But these guys, I'll give you the whole slide deck.
Rick, for a phenomenal fee, I'll reset your password.
Well, it may be worth it, because I see, yeah.
I do know a guy, but I have to burn some favors. So it's better if you call.
Yeah.
You know?
Free, I'll do it for you.
Yeah,
So you can clean up 3,000 trucks out of your portfolio.
yeah,
No, I mean, that number of trucks that are in there, with having that fleet information in there, and I'm assuming it's pulling everything KYTC is what it's doing.
yeah.
And That's why we've got 3,000 plus units, because we've got leased vehicles in there as well that are
Okay.
assigned to KYTC, but you're pulling it from the geotab side.
Yeah.
And it's dumping it in there.
Bingo. What's nice when I clean it, if you give me a list of here's all the vehicles we have in operation, when I upload it and using this import tab, it gives me the ability to replace existing vehicles, meaning forget about everything that's in the account, get rid of everything, and start with this clean list. That's the easiest way. So that's a nice tool. I just toggle that to that green button, and it just says wipe out everything that's currently in there and use what I'm loading into it right now.
But it'll clean it up there, but it's not gonna clean it up over here.
Yeah,
And if that runs a scan or a cycle, then it's gonna pick it back up and bring it back.
that's right. Yeah,
So we gotta get it cleaned up over here.
bingo.
So it cleans it up here.
Yeah.
Right?
Wipe
So-
that data, is it retrievable though? How would the old, is the old still retrievable?
It is retrievable, yeah. So we keep up to 6 months worth of data scans, yeah. So if you, yeah. Yep, they aren't gone. They're just,
Can you put it back on that page with the contact number,
oh yeah.
set password?
There we go. 800-527-7879.
Is that the only way to reset password, or is there no?
So what it goes through Microsoft's sign-on. So you do have the ability that as long as it's associated to your email address or your cell phone, that you can set up for a manual password reset. But you have to initiate that. If you haven't initiated that yet, then calling that number is the only way to reset your password. But they'll give you guidance on, hey, once I'm doing this for you, we encourage you to use that self-reset functionality, set that up so you don't ever have to call us again. Yeah. So as an example, these are the users that have access to this particular location. It also shows me their last login date in this column. It shows me whether or not they have admin rights to this particular location over in this column. Now, an admin has the ability to make others admins or remove admin rights. An admin can also create a new user. So I can add a user down here by clicking add, and I can, if it's someone that has an existing Navistar CYY user ID, I can say add existing user and then start typing their CYY into that bucket. Or if you need to create a new user ID for an OnCommand connection, just click on request new user ID, enter the person's first name, last name, select the country, email address, and a phone number, and whether or not they should have admin rights to this location. Click request new user at the bottom, and in about 5 minutes, that person will receive an email with their new user ID and their temporary password. Once they log in that first time, it'll ask them to create a permanent password. We just made our data security change. Now it's up to 12 digits on the password to make it more secure.
So what do you see for CYYAI2A? I'm just curious, because I'm getting error message to even get into the system. It won't even let me in the system.
So that I'm looking at a particular location right now, but I can go up to the overall account and click on the users. And let's see. Right there? Yeah. So you do have access to the account, but it's been a few months since you logged in, it looks like.
I haven't been able to log in, is the problem.
Okay.
Also, with login privileges, we've gone away from the social media access, meaning your email address.
Yeah.
So if you are still trying to get access using your email address, when you call, we need to reset that to a CYY.
Right.
Customer number. And that locks it in, makes it more secure, and we have less login issues. So if you are still, once more, if you're still logging in with your email address and then entering a password, we need to help you get updated to a CYY.
Yep. It looks like only a couple users were, and it's been years since they logged in last, so I think we're pretty clean. Pretty
Well,
clean.
see, if you look on there, they tried to fix mine, but my name's on there 3 times, so they just got me all confused. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm on there for Mike Banks with my email address, and then
Okay.
I've got that CYYAI2A as one, and then the other was the email, and I guess they updated it to
Yeah.
the other, but I'm just, for whatever reason, I'm locked out now, I can't do anything with it, so.
Okay.
That's because he's got 3 profiles sitting in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You need to get rid of 2 of them.
Yep. Okay.
And Amanda can do that real quick.
Well, I can remove the 2 right now. Which 2 should go?
But everybody in district sees their own HCYY.
Yes. Yes. We don't want people sharing user names and passwords because.
Here's a request. Every zone or district that wants access to OnCommand connection, please send a list to Kyle. Send him an email or call him, or Kyle will call you. Let's get a master list together that everybody needs to put basic information on. We'll get you created, get you signed up.
Yeah.
You'll have to set your own password when you get the alert via email, okay? So don't try to set it up yourself.
Yeah.
And once we get you set up with a CYY, I can get you access to have parts and service online too. That way you can, when they ask about.
That's right.
When you get the warranty, make sure those CYYs, I can take care of that. Make sure those CYYs give you access to that information as well. And
Yeah.
I'm talking to other gentlemen too. Anyone that utilize our parts online, which is an awesome tool too, we'll compile that for free.
And before you jump into the service portal or parts catalog online, look up parts, let us do some training, because you can get in there and spend hours looking and having fun.
Yeah.
But let us come out and help you drive the system quickly.
On the parts side, we've got parts guys that we have you stop by and walk you through.
So the other thing we're going to do is set you guys up with an International 360 account. You don't currently have one yet. This will give you visibility to all of the repairs that you have going on at international dealers, and it'll give you the ability to initiate a repair order request and assign it to a dealer. I'm logged in as Pasco Truck Lines over here. They have an International 360 account, and what this does is, let's say they want to bring this truck to an international dealer. They can click on Request Service. It'll open up this repair order card. They can click on Request Service again, and then it's a 3-step process. We already have the assets selected, so step 1 is gone. Select the service provider. It lists all the international dealers down here. So I'm going to type in, let's say I'm bringing it to Bluegrass. I'll bring it to the Georgetown location. Step 3 is, what is the complaints that you have? So you can select down here from the list or type in anything custom up here. Let's say the engine has low power. I'll select that one. Sometimes it'll ask you a follow-up question. When does it have low power? Intermittently, while it's under load. I can type in any notes specific to that. Enter any photographs. That's especially helpful if it has body damage that you want to be displayed. So I'll save that complaint. I can add more complaints. Maybe while it's there, we'll do a PMA service. Add any others or edit my complaints, or if I'm happy with those, click on Next. And the last thing is, when is the date and time that you intend to arrive with this vehicle? So what time of day? Let's say 8 a.m. and we'll be there next Tuesday. And I can even indicate whether or not I'm being towed in, yes or no. And with that, submit service request. And I'm not actually going to do it because this is live customer data. But what that does is it gives that dealership, it creates a live repair order card, and the dealers on their side, they'll see that you guys want to bring in this particular truck. Here's the reasons that you're bringing it in, and it'll list all of the fault codes that are happening on that truck. Now that dealer has every opportunity to pre-arrival plan for that vehicle's visit, and coordinate with you guys, start ordering obvious parts that they know they're going to need based on the fault codes and the complaints. It gives all that the opportunity of happening. And then throughout that repair, you have the full visibility to everything that's happening related to that repair. All the communications, all the status updates. You can be set it for automatic alerts to be emailed to you. Jump in there or give your approval for an estimate. Anything else. All of that is at your fingertips. So we're going to get you set up with an International 360 account.
From the dealership's perspective, I will say we actively watch this on the service side all day. We're active, we're messaging customers, we're monitoring on International 360. We understand customers, some just like to call and talk to human being. That's perfectly fine. We'll still accept phone calls all day long. But just keep in mind, there's days where we got 3 people on the counter, 1 guy standing there, 2 people on the phone, a guy on hold. This is a real simple way to get your information to us quickly and the process as fast as possible.
There you go. And there's no charge for it. Okay. So, those are the main 5 areas that I wanted to go through with you guys today. I'd be happy to help you clean out your account. I can follow up with you guys in a few weeks and we can reconvene and do a deeper dive into any of the areas that you want to look at. I'd be happy to clean up with the current vehicle list, help you get any more users set up if that's needed. I'm here to help you guys. So hope this has been helpful for day 1, and we'll do this again. All right. My business cards are down there on the table. I'll leave them there, and I'll send you guys this slideshow as well. Thank you all. Appreciate it.